80 years ago, you know, black people weren't allowed to even hardly be on the streets with you. Well, they were workers for some relatives of ours that lived across the fence from us, and this black couple lived back there. They were workers on the farm. And my sisters and I always sneaked off and went over there to visit them because she always made us cookies. Really good sugar cookies. And she was just a doll. She treated us like we were her own children. Apparently they didn't have any children. I never saw any children there, just a couple. But they were the sweetest things to us, and that house was immaculate. You could have eaten off the floors. But they weren't allowed to even associate with us if we hadn't sneaked off and just made ourselves welcome. Got married when I was almost 15, and I had 2 daughters, and I was married to Carl Pinkston for 15 years to 1948. Married him in 1933. I mean, right after that, I married Joe after the divorce in 1948. I married him in 49, and we moved to Fresno in 58, and then I worked for Rhodes department store here in Fresno Ag Hardware, and Joe got a job in Lemoore, and we moved to Lemoore, so I quit Fresno Ag when I went there. Otherwise, I probably would have been still working at Fresno Ag. Shirley especially was a problem because she never listened. Joe bought an old stripped down car, I mean completely stripped down, an old Ford I think it was, and we told her that she could drive it just around the country where we lived in Five Points and on the west side, but she couldn't. There was no license or anything. She couldn't drive it out on the main roads or any place. Well, you know, she didn't listen. First thing we knew, she'd driven it to town with some girlfriends. Oh, Joyce was pretty headstrong. She never argued much with you, but she did what she wanted to. We had to go out and get her out of the car several times in the night because she sat in the car all night with her boyfriend. And they'll be glad to hear all this, I'm sure. Michelle, when she was a baby, she was our first grandchild, or my first grandchild. She couldn't say, when she started to talk, she couldn't say Grandpa. So when we kept telling her that, she called him, she just said Paco, and it stuck. And then by trying to teach her to call me Grandma or Grandmother, she came up with Gramber, and that's why I've called that till now. Grateful for a lot of things. Grateful for my family, my daughters and all of my grandkids and great-grandkids and son-in-laws. I think I have the best family in the world, and they're better to me than I could ever hope.